Hello, good afternoon, good morning, depending on where you're located. And thank you very much for joining today's webinar, where we're going to cover an introduction to Sage and Sage X3. I'm Becky Smith, I'm Global Product Marketing Manager for Sage X3. And today I'm delighted to be joined by Todd English, who's Vice President of Marketing and Strategic Partnerships for Roush Yates Engines. And we'll be having a conversation with Todd a little bit later in the webinar. So with that, I will get going and really just want to share with you a little bit about Sage as an organization. And, fundamentally here at Sage, it's our mission to really make sure that we can help you, our customers, transform the way people think and work so that your organization can thrive. And our proposition is really built on our experience and an experience that you as a customer can depend upon. It's built upon millions of customers around the world. And with over 30 years experience of compliance and legislation changes, that we support you and navigate for you as customers. And for us at Sage, and also with our partner network, it's fundamental that we can deliver personalized support directly and through our trusted Sage partners, providing you with that local customer service and support in every market, every country, provided by local teams who are absolutely committed to your success. We also provide support in the way of over 6,000 pages of advice and content, blogs, how-tos, help systems that is freely available for you to browse. And over the past year, we've taken over 7 million phone calls globally in supporting our customers, and also over 100,000 web chats in the last year. So, it's important to be that both ourselves directly, Sage, and also our Sage partners are providing you with that really strong support. And in fact, we've been recognized by super brands for our reliability when it comes to delivering personalized support. Plus also, we want to be sure that we have the right technologies and solutions that are going to support you today, but also tomorrow, whether that's intelligent cloud technology or the right on-premises or hosted deployments. And in fact, Sage Business Cloud, which underpins our cloud structure, that's been recognized by the Forbes Cloud as Forbes as part of the Cloud 100 World's Best Cloud Companies, so which is really important from Sage. And we're actually seeing really tangible results that our customers who've migrated into the Sage Business Cloud have cut their things like their financial close times by up to 70%. We also need to make sure that we can provide you with the expansive ecosystem that really allows you to have that whole product solution regardless of your industry, whether you're in discrete manufacturing, whether you're process manufacturing, distributor or services organization. So we have an expansive ecosystem of additional solutions to really that you can add on that are integrated to support you through the journey. And then, who do we and our partner network really serve? Well, we are the global market leader for technology, providing both small and especially the medium businesses with solutions that give you the visibility, flexibility, and efficiency to manage your finance, operations, production lines, and also your people. And with our partners, Sage is actually trusted by millions of customers worldwide to deliver the best technologies and support for their businesses. And our years of experience really mean that our colleagues and our trusted partner network understand how to serve our customers and communities through the good and also through the more challenging times. And ultimately, both Sage and our partners, we're here to help you with practical advice, solutions, expertise, and insight. And I've talked a little bit about partners and our powerful ecosystem. And, it's critical for us, our extensive network of partners who contribute to our ambition to really build customers for life. For us, it's really important that we continue to build and invest in our partner ecosystem, and it helps us with our commitment to support you, our customers, by also Sage supporting our partners as they evolve their businesses, make sure that they're adopting new technologies, the cloud technologies, but also making sure that whether it's a strategic alliance that's underpinning the technology, or whether it's our accountant partners, our value-added resellers, and also our ISVs for those additional technologies, are all part of our kind of critical ecosystem. And really for us as our value-added resellers, our trusted partner network are very much the heart of our Sage business, providing the route to you as customers, helping out with implementation skills, but having that local knowledge geographically, also making sure that they may have industry-specific knowledge, they may have additional IP that will support you for that last mile, and really having those industry ready add-ons or leading edge complementary products that will help you further embrace the benefits of Sage and Sage X3. And it's really important for us in these challenging times that we've been, dealing with over the last few months, that we want to ensure that we continue to provide you with the visibility, flexibility, and efficiency to ensure that you can continue to manage your operations, your business. And with our solutions, really, we're looking to, and with our partner network, is freeing you from the burden of cumbersome processes, much of the admin, so you can spend more time doing the things that really matter and driving your business. We also want to make sure that, whether it's from our small business side, growing accountancy practices, or, the chief financial officers, chief strategy officers in medium-sized businesses, that we're able to provide you with peace of mind and help keep your business safe, make sure that we can ensure that you're continually compliant and, backed by unrivaled personalized support, either from Sage or our partner network that is built on 30+ years experience. So let's move on and look at Sage X3 a little bit today, and how Sage X3 as an ERP business management system can really help you and your business to thrive. So, I think one of the things that we just increasingly see as time moves on is that change is inevitable, and I think change seems to come even faster, whether it's driven by the impact of things like COVID-19 recently, or maybe it's changes in regulations or technologies. It's vital that businesses can make sure that for their ecosystem, all their users, you can provide that robust solution to your community that's available anytime and indeed anywhere. Making sure that the right users have access to the right data, that universal access to data, whether they're accessing through the web, in a desktop in the office, working remotely at home, or even out and about on mobile devices, depending on job roles. Also, it's important that we can actually provide you with solutions to help you embrace change that reduce the effort it takes to complete tasks, reduce the duplication in tasks by having faster, easier, and smarter automated workflows. We also want to make sure that you've got collaborative workflows so you can effectively work with your colleagues across the organization, your suppliers, and also your customers. And then have a powerful enterprise solution that you can deploy where it's right for you, whether that's on the cloud powered by Amazon Web Services technology, in a hosted environment, or actually on premise. We can give you that flexibility to have the solution that's right for you, but with the knowledge that you can actually move over time. Also today, that's something that we're seeing, it just seems to accelerate with pace, is the need to keep up to date with regulatory requirements. So making sure that you've got a solution that meets the needs of your compliance reporting, whether it's your financial, fiscal compliance reporting or industry related, whether it's around if you're in food and beverage perhaps, or you're in process manufacturing, you may have a number of compliance reporting regulations that you need to meet, and it's important that you've got that confidence to stay compliant. And then, of course, that streamlining that I mentioned of making sure that there's no duplicate of tasks, all the right people can access the right information, keep the business moving from an operational standpoint, but also have that flexibility to have tailored solutions that suit the unique needs of your specific business or industry. And then, of course, making sure that you've got that real-time business insight with the right dashboards and drill down, have that full visibility at all times, real-time business insight, so you can actually preempt any potential issues, but also make sure that across the business, regardless of function, that everyone's got their finger on the pulse of what's going on. So what does Sage X3 actually deliver? So Sage X3 is a comprehensive ERP. So from comprehensive, robust financial management, spanning all the budgeting and accounting capabilities that you'd expect, plus fixed assets, your financial reporting. And if you happen to be a global or multi-site organization, it's got that capabilities to deal with multi-currency, multilingual, multi-site, but also being able to put that information in really easy to consume dashboards. And then critical to most businesses, whether you're in distribution or manufacturing, is really having that comprehensive supply chain management. So it's making sure that you've got that comprehensive purchasing, understand where you're buying, whether it's taking through into making sure that you're understanding where's coming, visibility into when things are going to be delivered, making sure that you're keeping on top of inventory and warehousing. You don't have overstocks or understocks. And then importantly, the whole sales processing and the customer service. So not from bringing a new order in, but also making sure that you can take it through to after customer support and sales. And then for the manufacturing side of the world, of course, production management is absolutely critical to your industry, whether it's your bill of materials and production planning, making sure that you've got adequate shop floor controls in place. And of course, importantly, quality control and full traceability, and keeping on top of any non-conformance and being able to react to that in a timely manner. And then I think all businesses, regardless of our industry, whether we're in the services sector, manufacturing or distribution, we all need to run projects of some sort. So with Sage X3, there's comprehensive and integrated project management, and that's from defining your projects through to managing the execution with things like timesheet management that's linked into your kind of shop floor, your production planning, plus also that ability to track the financial status of projects. So really a very robust solution. And a couple of kind of key areas that I think are really important for our users, and we certainly hear many of our customers say that help them through, is Sage X3 is inherently easy to use. There's ability to, within the solution as it's set up, and as you work through with your kind of partner on setting up and tailoring your solution, is the ability to streamline workflows and then ultimately allows you to accelerate the management of your business all the way through from procurement, the manufacturing, inventory sales, distribution, the aftermarket customer service, and of course, key are the financials. Within the system, there's very easy access to personalized dashboards that are tailored to individual roles. So whether you're the CFO, the CIO, the shop floor manager, somebody in accounts receivable, you have your personalized dashboards and environment that allow you to monitor the key aspects of your role. Also get alerted to any anomalies that might be affecting your business in real time. Then also it's critical that as an organization, you can analyze your business and have highly customized scoreboards that will let you navigate up and down the audit trail, manage risk as they're coming in. And importantly, as I said before, regardless of where you're working, that you can access the system and your data, process inquiries, action on tasks, whether you're working connected through your web browser, on your laptop, or whether you're coming in through a tablet or a mobile device, be it iOS, Windows, or Android, and see the same level of information, but actually tailored for the type of device that you're actually using. And then key is really to making sure that the system is as streamlined and as intuitive for users as possible. So that ability to create, you can see there's an example here of an operations process flow. So something inherently within X3 and can be highly tailored and created to suit individual roles unique to your business are these process maps, these role-based dashboards that will show the entire process. This is a very kind of high level one, if you like, for demonstration purposes. It kind of will show the whole way from quote all the way through to cash, and what those steps are that users have to go through, and will help drive through and understand that process. But these can be taken to quite a granular level. So for somebody in accounts receivable, could be for the controller, it could be for shop floor execution. And the useful thing is you're able to like bring in and link to either useful reference material or actually start to incorporate external processes and seamlessly into your Sage X3 processes as well. So that's whether if you're a manufacturer, perhaps you have an external MES, you want to integrate data, that can easily be done. And then, of course, importantly is, as no two businesses are the same, and working especially with our partner network, is that ability to deliver industry add-ons and extensions using the Sage X3 SAFE framework, web services and APIs. So you can create that complete holistic ecosystem, but all users can access that through their process-orientated workspace. And I mentioned a few slides ago of inherently within Sage X3 is that ability to support multi-company, multi-site, multi-legislation and multi-language capabilities, providing you, so whether you're a large group organization with a number of distinct legal companies, could be across different geographies, maybe multiple financial sites, right down to business use. Sage X3 gives you that common frame of reference, also provides you with those kind of management rules, but also make sure that you can meet those global compliance needs. And on top of that, provide you with that flexible reporting, whether it's at the very top group level or actually business unit reporting, and also giving you that ability to see cross-functional views, especially if you're working in a matrixed organization. And of course, because it's designed from the ground up as multi-company, multi-site, Sage X3 will actually scale with you as you thrive and maybe bring on a new side to the business, or maybe bring on an acquisition and incorporate that into your core system. And an example of this is one of our customers who, Chryso Group, they have basically been able to bring in through and establish with Sage X3, consolidate group-wide excellence and standards across their entire manufacturing business. And it's really allowed them to stay flexible enough with the needs and context of each of the individual subsidiaries, but also ensure that with Sage X3, they can roll everything up and have very accurate, quick and timely global picture and global reporting through their deployment of Sage X3. So looking a little bit of what Sage X3 delivers for our distribution, for distribution operations, so whether you're a wholesale distributor, is really making sure that we provide those key capabilities, whether it's from the demand planning, orders and forecasting, the whole way through the purchasing, logistics and inventory management, the sales and marketing, and of course, increasingly important of these days of net promoter scores, etc., into our customer service, all underpinned by those strong and robust financials. And whether you're looking, for single or multi, whether you're looking for global sourcing, procurement and logistics, or just regional, it will help you to do things like track your supplier quality, also to actually track the performance management of your suppliers. Also make sure that you can manage multiple warehouses. So maybe today you just have a single warehouse, but over time you're looking to expand. You can manage those multiple warehouses and the logistics that go with them. Then also making sure that you can, either whether it's local or international fulfillment processes, meet those needs. And then with customer service, depending on what it is that you're distributing, you may also offer after sales management and may need contracts to manage that. And again, that's somewhere where Sage X3 will support that today or as you grow into those types of capabilities. So looking at process manufacturing, whether you're in food and beverage or whether you're in chemicals or other areas of process manufacturing, Sage X3 is really well equipped to help you respond faster to those changing customer demands. Also, fluctuations in procurement in the supply chain, or fluctuations, seasonal fluctuations in things like production and managing shipments. It'll really help you drive and minimize waste as well. And with really strong production and quality control capabilities, and it will help you reduce the risks of contamination. It'll help you manage and reduce costs that could be due to spoilage as well. And then very importantly, the risk aspect with really comprehensive traceability and quality capabilities, whether it's lot management, being able to actually trace the ingredients or the components all the way through from the supplier through to the finished good can really help you reduce the risk and scope of recalls, because you can ensure that quality traceability, and also with built-in quality control safety checks of all the materials and ingredients used in your processes. Also, Sage X3 is uniquely positioned to help you quickly adapt to those ever-changing regulations and compliance requirements. So as new requirements come in, either with your food and beverage, chemical, or related to your industry, you can easily adapt your solution to make sure that you're keeping up with the latest requirements that come in. So capabilities, things like automated recall, formula recipe and potency management, allergen tracking as well, but also being able to run in a mixed mode as well can be very important for process manufacturers, of being able to run in either mixed mode or batch processes. We also offer, whether it's for process manufacturing or indeed discrete manufacturing, graphical web-based scheduling tools to help you schedule your production lines. And then full security and audit trails, and things like shelf life management, cross-contamination risk, hazardous materials, storage management, all that have clear audit trails and reporting capability as part of Sage X3. And then the last area, or kind of, if you like, industry I'd like to focus on is looking at discrete manufacturing operations. And again, you know, really important for discrete manufacturing. And we'll talk to Todd in a few minutes about this in a little bit more detail, but is that ability to respond really rapidly to customer inquiries, making sure that you're optimizing your profitability with very accurate product costing and pricing, but also to make sure that you've got the confidence that you've got full control over your work order details. You can optimize your production processes and make sure that you've at all times got really deep and real-time insight into your production costs and projects. And then, of course, quality, making sure those quality standards are met at all times. Incredibly important to make sure that you've got the loyalty of your customers and comply with industry regulations. And then, of course, being able to manage that customer care by being able to offer, you know, warranty and service orders, manage that process more effectively, and of course, ensure the full traceability of all the product parts. So with Sage X3 and for discrete manufacturers with key capabilities such as available to order, make to order, capable to order, make to stock, configure to order processes are all manageable within the system. And of course, that ability to have project-based manufacturing all the way from quote through to finish, and even building in aftercare, with things like having multiple level bill of materials and usage controls for sales kits, prototypes, engineering bills, and so on. And again, of course, the graphical scheduling. And then being able to do things like associate work and cost centers with machine and labor cost dimensions, resources, and your factory calendars. And then being able to do things like manage full or partial production subcontracting, really providing you with that flexibility for the unique way that your organization works. And again, of course, extensive product cost accounting. But I think for the moment, I think you've probably, you know, heard enough to me. So what I'd like to do now is to invite Todd English, our who's Vice President of Marketing and Strategic Partnerships for Roush Yates Engines. And I know, Todd, you've been with Roush since 2007, as our attendees can see on the screen, and you've been there, worked your way up the ladder, so to speak, and you now sit on the organization's executive team. And your role includes responsibility for evaluating expansion and acquisition projects, which has included the acquisition of Sage X3 solution. So welcome to the call, Todd. And perhaps you could just start by giving me a little bit of background of what it is that Roush Yates Engines actually does.
So Becky and everybody on the call, thank you for allowing myself to join. Becky, can you hear me okay?
I can hear you loud and clear, Todd.
Awesome. Well, thank you. Well, first, again, Roush Yates Engines is a leading edge race engine development company based out of Mooresville, North Carolina. Basically, today we operate out of two state-of-the-art facilities. Our engine facility, which is one currently, and we also have a manufacturing facility, which has really grown a tremendous amount. And that manufacturing facility is ISO 9000 AS 9100 certified with over 50 CNC pieces of equipment. Our core business includes designing, building, and testing purpose-built race engines. So, in summary, we provide high-performance engines along with our partner Ford Performance, and we are exclusive at the NASCAR level. So we provide an EFI engine and a carbureted engine for about 16 teams. We also, in addition, provide engines for road racing. So one platform that might be familiar with a lot of individuals on the call is the Ford EcoBoost. So between 2016 and 2019, we also powered the Ford GT for Ford Chip Ganassi Racing in the IMSA and the WEC series, which is a global series. So we are an engine, again, design development and production companies. We produce about 850 engines per year, and it's been a success story. If you look at when we implemented Sage X3 version 7 back in 2016 with the support of RKL, we've actually won over 140 races. And if you look at our career since we started back in 2004, almost 40% of our wins have came here in the last 5 or 6 years. So we've expanded a lot, and obviously, Becky, you know, a lot of buzzwords that you talked about, the flexibility, the visibility, has really assisted with our growth of onboarding new customers as well as diversifying our businesses.
Cool, thanks, Todd. So, how many employees do you have at Roush Yates?
So we have 184 employees, and we've been up to 200, but typically we stay around the 185 level.
Wow, so you kind of got some pretty busy teams because giving, you know, your NASCAR, the racing, the engines, how many engines do you actually design and build per year?
You know, the engines are constantly changing, so we do have production, we do have development. Per year, we typically average about 850. Now that has been up to 1,200 per year. These engines are purpose-built, purposely designed, and even this week we're racing tomorrow in Tennessee, then Friday we're racing in Florida, then on Saturday and Sunday we're racing in Texas. So it's constantly changing. The engines, to me, is a secret recipe, and we continue to update it. But we have to have very quick, timely information so we can continue to get these engines back and rebuild it, and obviously want to continue to increase the power, performance, and reliabilities each and every week.
Wow, so there's really a lot of pressure on very fast turnarounds, and I guess being able to analyze data is really important for you.
Yeah, I think visibility, right? Flexibility, we talk about those words a lot, but we have to have data and we have to have accurate data. And I think that's what really the power of X3 allows us to kind of store all that data to make better decisions, not only from a competition standpoint, but a financial standpoint as well.
That's kind of cool, and excuse my ignorance here around engines. I confess to say I'm one of those people. The car is something to get me from A to B. But so, I mean, do you guys actually get the engines back, and kind of what's your process kind of after each race?
Yeah, so great question. So these engines are leased to our particular customers. I compare our business a little bit like aviation, but we do get the engines back after every race, and typically we will tear them completely down. We will analyze them down to the 750 components that are in these particular engines. You know, some of these components will actually run one race. Some components might run 15 races. So we have to really track all that information. Then, you know, kind of going down parallel paths as we're continuing to develop these engines. So the engine that we race here on Wednesday night in Tennessee will be different than the engine we race on Saturday and Sunday. So it's constant, again, I go in constant development and data that we always manage. And then obviously, again, we've had a lot of success with this, and it's been a great journey for us being on this particular Sage platform.
And that's cool. And I know that you're supported by our partner, RKL Solutions. And, from working with a Sage partner, and what is it that they're bringing to your kind of very unique, discrete manufacturing process?
Yeah, I think I'll start back really in 2015 when we started evaluating various types of platform. And in 2015, I would like to mention we had four unique business units per se. We had our leasing, which is our engine manufacturing business. We did have another engine manufacturing business that was project accounting, time and materials. We also had about a 12 to $15 million retail store with lots of transactions. And in addition to that, we had a CNC, which we still have today, a manufacturing shop. So again, if you look at all those particular activities, we did our particular research and felt like, and still feel like today, that X3 was the robust system that was able to manage all those different business units. We did a good amount of research even prior to selecting our particular partner in RKL. And if you look back at when we went through this process, there was a lot of recommendations going back to RKL Solutions, and I think that recommendation is the same today because without them, their employees, their team, we as an organization would have struggled because of our fast timeline to actually implement this particular software in such a short period of success as we went live in 2016.
Wow, so that's really good to know of that kind of robust. And you've had a long history with Sage and going live with Sage X3 in 2016. But I understand as well that a lot of and I know this may be for people out there who've either got existing legacy ERPs or kind of have heard about the history of ERPs, that you can never upgrade them. But I understand that, in 2019, you decided to upgrade your earlier version of Sage X3 to the most recent version, so from version 7 to version 12, with the support of RKL. And I guess, would it be fair to say that you probably had a few concerns or worries about that experience, but actually just give me a little bit of sense of how that process went for you?
Yeah, I think like most companies, anytime you talk about an upgrade or anytime you talk about moving to a new software platform, I imagine there's a lot of concern. Everything from is this going to be a painful experience? Is all my data going to come over correctly? How expensive is this project going to be? How are my end users going to feel about this particular upgrade? But if you look at the entire process with RKL and the excellent resources they provide to support our projects, not only to mention their project manager that we had during the first implementation and moving over to the upgrade, really they made this whole process at ease per se. So again, it was a very successful transition from the new software back in 2016. And the same thing can be said back in 2019. Our end users could hardly even tell that we upgraded from a usability standpoint. And I think that's key, right? You go through these upgrades and you're really concerned about a lot of things, but at the end, we look back at it and it was very much a breeze for our particular team. But again, a lot of that credit goes back to RKL and the infrastructure they put in place to begin with, the testing, so we can have that ease of use. If I'm going to worry about something at night, I'd really continue and want to worry about our performance and development. And the great thing now is we don't have to worry about nightly or throughout the process our particular software system and visibility because we know we have a sound partner in RKL.
That's really good to know. So you, in fact, can kind of concentrate on the strategy, the world driving the business, and hopefully less time taken up on the things that used to take a long time in the old days.
Yeah, again, going back to, one example is when we were at Mass 500, it took us about a week and a half to kind of close the month. Right now, with the power of X3 and really the processes that we put in place with RKL, we can close the books within one day after the month. So that's been a huge success. But the faster that we can receive the data, the better decisions we can make for our various business units.
Brilliant. Todd, Thank you so much for chatting to me, and hopefully, just remind everyone, if you have any questions either on what Todd has talked about of his experience with Sage X3, and the value of working with a trusted Sage partner, please type your question into the question box, or indeed any question about any of the content that I have covered so far. So kind of, we've heard Todd has given us some really good value of, the efficiencies that they're gaining from X3, and really to kind of, if you like, back that up and give you some kind of additional context. Earlier this year, back in the March timeframe, we commissioned a study conducted by Forrester Consulting to highlight the cost savings and business benefits that can be enabled by Sage X3. And this is through a total economic impact report is the result of this. And the process that Forrester went through is they interviewed 9 Sage X3 customers from across different industries, each of whom had significant experience of using Sage X3. And those customers, be they manufacturing, distribution, or service, industries, answered a bank of questions and information directly to Forrester Consulting. And as part of the study, what Forrester actually do is they create a composite organization that illustrates the quantifiable benefits and costs that you can reap from investing in Sage X3. And the composite organization that they frame out and is actually described in the reports is a global mid-sized company that's been using Sage for more than 3 years. And there's some key highlights that came out of the total economic impact, or TEI, report of customers using Sage X3. And the first one was an overall total headcount saving of over 4.5 full-time employees annually across the business, by some of those efficiencies that I talked about and that Todd then reinforced. Also by having more streamlined processes of saving over $250,000, so $250,000 annually in sales discounts every year. Other key benefits that customers are able to see was also a large reduction in the number of customer service hours. So saving over 2,000 customer service hours every year by, again, having better visibility, better processes, better quality, etc. throughout the system. And then also importantly for many manufacturing and distribution organizations, we're seeing a 12% reduction in inventory levels, which actually equates to over $300,000 per year in savings to the organization. Plus, on top of that, the customers that were interviewed by Forrester Consulting also expressed a number of unquantifiable benefits as opposed to the very quantifiable benefits. And that included areas like the workflow automation and alerts functionality within Sage X3, which the customer said really has been encouraging their users to adhere to policies, so you can be sure as a business that people are always following the right process, doing things the right way, but also that speeds up those day in, day out, or even sometimes infrequent processes that need to take place. And then one area in particular was around workflow automation or approval processes. And often in the past they were saying that an employee, perhaps somebody in accounts or in a business function, would have to be chasing people down to approve a purchase order. But with Sage X3 and the ability to have a fully automated workflow and alerts that go out that notify the appropriate staff, The approvals are then done in a much more reasonable amount of time. And another area that was really highlighted was the ability to was the benefits of documentation and office collaboration functionality in Sage X3. And really what I mean by here is meaning that ability of being able to store every vendor invoice. So it's scanned into a document management system and the PDFs are uploaded into Sage X3 and attached directly to the records. And this means that that kind of history, the invoices with all the information are accessible by anyone who needs to see them. And that could be business units and purchasing, could be the receiving doc, could be accounts payable, employees. Of course, with all the security in place that only those users that are authorized to see that information can do so. But what's really important by having that direct access within a system is that the staff across the departments don't now need having to go searching filing cabinets or disconnected file servers for the information. The TEI, just to go a little bit deeper into some of the quantified benefits from the TEI study by Forrester and that composite organization that they created, is looking here on this screen, you can actually see what this composite organization has experienced in the way of risk-adjusted present value quantified benefits, which in total come to an overall of almost $2.5 million. So what the composite organization is seeing is across their financial management, they're seeing a 9% of total benefits. And a large amount of this actually is into labor savings from reporting, over $200,000 in saving for the organization. And that's because of having more automated, integrated reporting, access through to all the relevant data in a cohesive system. And I think, you know, another side, as Todd said, actually being able to do things like reduce the time it takes to achieve month-end close from weeks down to a matter of a couple of short days. Then in purchasing, 20%, 22% of the total benefits are in the purchasing area, covering materials and productivity savings that amounted to about $500,000. Then also with sales management, this amounted to 24% of the total benefits for the composite organization through the reduced sales discounts of almost $500,000. And again, then inventory management, those reduced inventory levels, really critical and key. You know, actually 16%, but actually a large in excess of $300,000. Again, productivity improvements, reduced hours in customer service. And then for the manufacturing side of the business is really those production cost reductions. So, you know, that's really helping to drive and save off the bottom line. And then finally, with new features delivered into Sage X3, continually delivered on a quarterly basis into Sage X3, customers are seeing 11% of the overall improvement. In fact, over $268,000 across production, supply chain, financial management, streamlining. So really across the whole business, the organization is able to reap benefits. And this really results in some big benefits. So, you know, and of course there's benefits, there's costs as well. From the Forrester Composite Company, the present value costs of the organization is really around, you know, internal labor costs to plan and deploy Sage X3 of roughly about 60,000, plus also license costs as well. And then of course, ongoing internal administrative labor for Sage X3, whether direct or engaging with a partner. And of course, just worth noting that as no two businesses are the same, every business is unique, and especially we've seen, organizations like Roush Yates Engines, Todd's business, that no two implementations would be ideal, but the TEI reports will give you a good sense. But really the important thing from this composite organization, that we were able to see that the experience benefits of well in excess of 2 million over 3 years versus costs of $756,000 really added up to a net present value of 1,600,000 odd with a payback period of less than 6 months for the organization who have implemented Sage X3. And then on top of that, the organization actually seeing an ROI of 213%. So kind of really important. And of course, depending on the size and scope of the implementation, on average, the TEI report was saying they would expect organizations would see that payback to their investment between a 6 and 12-month timeline. So with that, really with Sage X3, regardless of your industry, whether you're in a discrete manufacturing as Roush Yates are, or maybe you're a process manufacturer in food and beverage or chemicals, or a service industry or distribution, Sage X3 can really provide you with that kind of faster, more intuitive, tailored business management solution than many conventional ERPs, especially if you're a product-centric business, and really help you to make sure that you can thrive and stay competitive in the face of growing complexity. I think then, on top of that is really to make sure that, in conjunction with our partners, we can help you to transform how businesses, you can manage your people, your process, and your operations, and really make sure that you can embrace change at speed. So I think then finally, just a kind of recap from, Sage as a group, also with our partners, whether you've been shut down, you're opening back for business, you're opening new doors, or you've made radical changes, whether you're looking to stay on top of your cash flow, whether you're making decisions, we want to make sure that you can make decisions with confidence for what might be coming around the corner, but also provide you with the solutions that give you the insights you need to make sure that you can thrive as the future goes on, and make sure that ourselves as Sage, but also our trusted partners such as RKL and our broad partner network around the world, is to make sure that you've got that peace of mind, not only with the technology solution, but also that unrivaled personalized support that's built on any 40 years of experience. Hey, Todd, hopefully you're still with us, Todd. I've got one that's come in of which is kind of really interested, being around, a lot of what we've all been experiencing with COVID, of kind of really, I'm sure everyone kind of realizes the race schedule and the teams are probably impacted, but for you as an organization, how are you impacted by COVID-19? And were there any areas where Sage X3 was really able to support you as you kind of needed to adapt in the short term?
So, Becky, for you and the team, obviously COVID-19 has impacted everybody, and I think obviously the safety of our employees and families and our communities first. But our last race, kind of during COVID at the very beginning, was back in March, and I remember being out in Phoenix, and that was our last race in March. And COVID obviously continued to spread, and obviously essential business statuses was important. So our engine facility was actually shut down for about 10 to 12 weeks. And I think for us, with the power of Sage and the support of RKL, we have really diversified our business units. So even today, one of the reasons that I'm just on a particular audio call is because we do a lot of defense work and we do a lot of aviation, aerospace, and medical. So during the shutdown of our core business on the engine side, we were actually able to move a good amount of employees over to our manufacturing facility, which is considered essential. And obviously, we worked through the entire COVID-19. But at this facility, right, we have actually started in producing. I think within 2 weeks, we had cut over 10,000 face shields and face masks for our healthcare providers. We've also done some aerosol and medical cabinets. We also help design and optimize a particular ventilator, and actually we're in production now of about 20 or 50 ventilators per week to really support life-saving devices. But throughout this entire process, we have relied on Sage and RKL to help us with forecasting, because immediately when things started shutting down, we looked at our manufacturing facility, we looked at cash flow, we looked at production, we looked at the amount of material that is needed to produce for 3 months. So I think that was really a good example of how we leveraged the Sage system, is through our visibility in production. And we went in and talked to our suppliers through communication and ordered about 3 months of material, because at that point, I'm going to say late March, there was a lot of uncertainty about if everything was shutting down and how much materials that you could get. So I think that's a good example of how we have diversified as a company, but also how we have leveraged the system in other areas in our business outside of our core race and engine business.
Cool. Thank you for that, Todd. And I think we've got time. I've got one more quick question that came in, which was in relation to the deployment options for Sage X3. It's a really good question. So Sage X3 can be deployed as part of the Sage Business Cloud into either multi-tenant, single-tenant environments. Sage can also be hosted, and many of our partners globally provide hosting capabilities as part of their service as Sage trusted partners. Or you can also deploy Sage X3 on premise. And I think what's fundamental to we can make sure, so whether you're very much still on premise or you're looking to rapidly move into the cloud environment, we're there to support with what's right for you. And whether that's in a hybrid environment where you may have your core Sage X3 in the cloud, and you may have your MES system that is part of on-premise, or a combination of different ways. The technology is built to support you as you have it now today, but also take you on that transition to the future as new technologies and integrating with third-party solutions come together. Now, I know and appreciate we're almost up to the hour. What I'd like to do is really say a huge thank you to Todd and to RKL Solutions, but a special thank you to Todd English for joining us and actually telling us such a great story about Roush Yates engines, and how with the support of RKL, they're able to help drive actually a really exciting business, Todd. So thank you very much for your time today. I really appreciate you joining the webinar, and especially as you could only join by voice for security reasons, network security reasons, not that we can't see your face. And thank you to everyone for attending the webinar and taking the time out. And we really look forward to facing the next steps together. So with that, thank you very much.